It doesn't take long for Killian to get on the comms along with Nocturne in her second. He says, well, good news. That's 2 more tons of wood that we got, but that's not even 2 cords just yet. We're behind schedule, but we're behind what we planned to do. And we've lost, 2 more guys? Yeah. And 1 more deep injury. He goes over to Nocturne and he says, he communicates to Nocturne in this little conference call. And he says, all right, let me know, Nocturne, what's the vibe with the men and women over there? Nocturne kind of pauses for a second. She scratches her nose and kind of scrunches up her freckled face. And she says, it's not that bad. Morale's a little shaky, especially when we first encountered these bugs. But I know a lot of these dregs are tough. They're not completely predictable, of course. But, they've all worked with us in one job or another. They're as professional as you're going to get. As far as working output goes, with the men that we've lost, we'd still be able to operate at nearly peak efficiency. We should still keep on going. We did, after all, factor in that some people would die. No need to modify current working orders. He goes, okay, good. He looks over you. He looks over to the crew of the Rhapsody, and he says, I thought this would have gone without understanding, but the reason why we are doing quick, sudden harvests is so we don't attract the attention of the local wildlife. What the fuck happened? He stares at you. His face is very relaxed, but his eyes are ablaze.
Okay. I'm going to let somebody else take initiative with this.
What?
Squeak, now you're my favorite.
I'm not stepping forward to do anything. Al's mind is somewhere completely different, and Squee does not want to take initiative here.
Pass. Dibs out.
Oh my god, what would Patrick even do?
I'll give you guys a moment or two to figure this out. That's fine.
Well, there's an action that's most likely, but I don't want to do it.
Okay. People are saying to point at August.
Alright, so I'm not going to take this action, but I'm just going to give everyone a fair warning. His most likely reaction would just be like, oh, that's Tom. And I don't want to take that action.
Okay.
I don't know what Tom would say.
Well, take a moment and think about it, because Killian Blackwater isn't letting you off the hook. He wants a fucking answer.
Yep.
And usually, like I said, I think Al would be all for kind of lying to mitigate to help his friends, but he really is in a different place right now. He's probably not even paying attention to what Killian's saying.
If you're not going to take the initiative,
Nope.
I know what Patrick's gonna say.
Go for it.
Okay. Jesus Christ. It looks like one of the mantis were doing a strike, hide and strike tactic, and I'm assuming that rather large action was to finish it off, but I believe that was something we should refrain from doing from now on.
Yeah, Killian says. I figure that'd be a good idea. I want to know whose bright idea it was to start setting the forest, what we're harvesting, on fire.
Son of a bitch.
Patrick, you're gonna have to do this. I'm sorry.
Tom will slowly raise his hand.
Killian just kind of shakes his head a little bit, and he says, "This is my suggestion for you, crew of the Rhapsody. All right? Start following the orders of your own people. And I gotta think twice before I send you into that woods again, if that's what you're gonna do." He wipes his bottom lip a little bit, and he says, "This is a stressful situation for everyone, right? Every time we land on that fucking planet is a chance that we're not going to come back up. All right? We have to acknowledge that. We're going to take a few moments over here. Nocturne and I are going to try to find another place to land. I think we're going to stay apart from that big bulk, that big green triangle there. We're going to try to find some secondary target types. The thought was that if we take the largest square foot area, the likelihood of any sort of bugs being around there is low because they're all spread out. But now maybe we want to try some of the smaller pockets. I don't know if they're going to be any more concentrated or not, but we got to try something different. These interruptions have been manageable so far, but I'm just waiting for another fuck up like that," he says. "And then we're all fucking food." "So are we clear?" he says. "We keep to a low profile."
Crystal
Patrick is
Good.
also going to say crystal clear.
Good. And the comm shut off abruptly.
So yeah.
So that happened.
So a few seconds afterwards, you hear Alicia remark, "I think he needs to get laid." She kind of gives a bit of a laugh. Sorry, I just had to break the tension there.
Tom
not
will
fun.
crack up laughing at that.
She just says, it's not fun always watching it chew out, but what can you do?
Patrick is probably going to go, though he is right, we really need to be a bit more careful. This is a situation where we really need to make sure that we are sticking with survival first, and everything else will probably go second.
Yeah.
Al's quiet.
Al,
What?
are you with us?
Sorry, Patrick. No. My mind's a little elsewhere. What did you say?
We need to keep focused, and we need to make sure that we focus on survival, and everything else would be secondary.
Right, I can agree with that. What did I miss?
We open for an NPC talk in here? Yeah? Okay. I never wanted to interrupt unless it's... Anyways, I always want to double check. Here, August kind of swivels around in his chair, and he says, the head of this expedition was just saying how we have to keep a low profile. Weren't you listening?
Al's going to pause for a second and shrug and say, actually, no, I wasn't. Sorry. But he has a point.
You okay, Al?
I'm waiting to hear back from the doctors of the other ship.
We'll take a rest. I think that might be best. Just to sit and lay down for a bit. Everyone up for that?
Yeah, actually, add a character question, GM.
Mm-hmm.
How do they handle things like moving from ship to ship while in orbit?
They dock with each other.
Okay. Then Al will just kind of nod.
Okay.
So, want me to take over here for a moment, too?
Do it.
Sure.
Okay. So, after about 30 minutes or so, you get another communication from the Razor's Kiss. The plan is that they're going to take a bit of a break for about a day or so before any more landings, for the sake of morale of the people who've been on the ground, and for some time to tactically reassess the whole Mars situation. In addition, during this communique, I think it would be fair enough for Al to inquire about the how that injured fellow did.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you would be told, without much specification from Nocturne, she'd say that he is touch and go right now, but there's a good chance he's going to pull through. But his time landing on Mars is over now.
I see.
He'll need long-term recovery, and we don't want to risk it. It wouldn't be good for morale anyway, she says.
I see. Thank you very much.
No problem. Well, you're the one who brought him in. I figured it'd only be fair enough to tell you.
I appreciate it.
Comms go off. But yeah, you guys have about a day to yourselves for some R&R, for lack of a better word. Before, once again, you need to head back down to that planet to keep getting that gosh darn wood. Mm-hmm. So we can roleplay another landing if you want, or we can take some time and you guys can let me know, what you do to spend your day, maybe some role plays or something like that if that's what you're digging. Or if you guys also want to take a time and talk amongst yourselves as players and as characters as to how you want to approach this next step.
I think we should approach this next step as I don't use my fire powers again ever. So, yay.
I think we should approach the next step probably in ships with a decaying orbit until they touch ground.
Yeah.
I don't think that we should be inflexible with your use of fire. There are certainly times where we might just say F it. But yeah.
We now know what it does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was roaring all of like 5 seconds or so.
Apparently, fire's busy.
Yeah. Anyways, how Tom's gonna spend his time is, how he would spend his time over the past 2 months.
Gotcha.
Netflix and chill, yada yada yada.
You can't see what I did when I rolled my eyes. Not because of what you're doing, but how you said it.
Well, I mean, I kind of made Tom's room into
I know you
the
did.
most elaborate Netflix and chill place at all.
Just such a
Netflix and Twitter.
It's such a Netflix.
I know.
You mean you're gonna fuck? No, and sorry, that's not a comment at you, Burn. I mean, it's just the whole saying is so silly, and everyone loves their code languages. Anyway, all right, we got that.
Al would rest appropriately, but probably spend the rest of his time training. Is it fair to say the ship would have like punching bags or a fitness center or something like that?
No, it wouldn't. That is not fair to say, unfortunately. It wasn't outfitted with that sort of special. There could have been like a weight room or a training room or something like that.
Yeah, but we just went, let's just do this.
All right,
Well, the Raps has some of the space, but that doesn't mean that there isn't space in the cargo bay or even the recreation area where you can't. Because, I mean, that's where Tom and Blink have been doing a lot of their training in the cargo area.
Yeah, Al would...
because there's enough space to move around.
Al would probably then just work on his knife forms or something. But, I mean, pretty much that's all he would be doing besides resting and eating.
All right, groovy. Mm-hmm. Anything else, my friends?
Yes.
No, you go.
Patrick will be locked away in his room for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come out at the times of the appropriate meals and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But generally just going to be inside of his room.
Okay. Al, you had something.
No, I kind of lost what I was going to say. So I'm
Okay.
good. How many bugs have we caught?
0.
Yeah, okay. Just going to write that down in my notebook.
Where you're down in the cargo area, you can see those cages being empty. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. How many books have we got? 0. Okay, I gotta just write that down. All right. Okay. If you guys like, I can move ahead to the future.
Go for it.
Go for it. Is everyone cool with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take some time for yourselves, and a day later, Killian Blackwater, who seems to be a lot calmer at this case, but he still has his professional drawl. He says, "Okay, we've been talking, and we're going to take at least one shot at one of the smaller clusters of vegetation. There's probably some old terraforming attempts. There's a little bit of these crevice line activity, but it's going to be a shot. It's south of the Martian equator. It kind of gives you the trajectory of it, the coordinates of it. Makes arrangements for landing. He says, we're going to give another shot with a small modification. If it's quiet and we don't see anything, we're going to stick around just a little bit longer to make up the lost time that we've had, the lost lumber that we haven't been able to recover. But I want to reiterate, these things can come on us very, very quickly. So the second we hint any sort of trouble, because this is a slightly more riskier proposition, they could be more concentrated after all. Get ready to don't put yourselves out there, he says. We need everyone close by the ships in case of we need an immediate exit. Thoughts, opinions, suggestions? He asks.
You go first. Yeah.
Patrick is going to say none, sir.
Okay. Same comm officers as before. Get ready for a descent. And with that, unless there's any last things for you guys, guess where you're going?
Is it Mars?
Yeah, it's to Mars. It's back to Mars. Lucky you.
Oh man.
I know. How fortunate.
I do have a question, comment, concern, opinion about my PPE when resting.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you ask me how much the recovery was before and I told you?
Yes, I think it was I think I actually may have asked Squee, but it was hourly and
Hourly and meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, hourly meditation. I just can't remember the exact numbers. And of an 8-hour day.
Recovery PPE. I told you this, you bastard. You asked me this before, and I said, "Oh, I didn't put it down on the sheet." Here, let me tell you now. I'm going to tell you again. It's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time. I say strong language because I love you. All right. You regard PPE is 5 points for every hour of rest or sleep, or you can meditate. And if you meditate, the recovery rate is 10 per hour.
All right.
Okie dokie. So I would assume with the amount of PPE that you spent, unless you spend a whole lot more than I anticipated, you'd probably be pretty good. But no, I'll leave that into your able hands. Okay. We got anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay.
I'm good.
I do have an interesting question, and I don't know if this would be something we'd ask. Yeah, well, I'm sure it'd be something at some point we ask Killian.
Sure.
Al would inquire if there's any way, and actually he'd ask the group first, but if there's any way to be put on guard duty with the people who are working, because we seem to people keep getting attacked and we're nowhere near them, and the workers are the most vulnerable ones.
Killian would explain that the workers are not completely defenseless. Half of them have mining equipment. Another small percentage helps haul it, but the rest protect the men. They're given weapons. They all have weapons, and a lot of them are on duties to guard the area, to engage and to report with Nocturne what happens. My main concern is when they're not in the woods, by the ships, in the places that aren't covered in forest. Those ants are fucking smart. They attack us from the back, from the sides, from the rear. We need protective people to watch the sides that aren't the forests. That's why I've assigned you guys. And I've seen what happens when I put you guys in the fucking woods.
Al won't press the issue.
If you have a better idea, I'm all for it. But I think our flanks and our rear needs to be protected as well, don't you?
I wasn't suggesting they don't.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the matter, he'd ask?
No, that's it.
Okay. Bada boom, bada bang.
Yep.
Pardon me?
I did the exact same thing you did. I said biddity beep.
All right. Then I will have Tom, with those little magic fingers of yours, roll me a D100.
68! Ha ha!
And
I do that every time.
let me check this out real quick. 68, you say? Ah,
Do we have ants in our pants?
no. Well, you don't know that. Roll me D100 one more time there, Tommy Tom.
One more time.
Yep.
11. Ha ha. 11.
Perfect. So, so your ships head towards this new area on Earth, completely skirting that immense triangle of greenery and going to just a small blip in comparison. But this small blip appears to be at the base of a very craggy, mountainous area. Luckily, you decide to decide to land on the other side of it. So from your vantage point, in fact, as you land and you hit the earth, hit the ground again, you see this terraformed area, for lack of a better word, is a lot less dense than the other ones. You can actually kind of see a good 100 feet into the woods, which is new. And there doesn't seem to be any activity. Patrick, you would hear on comms that as they descend, thermal scans don't seem to show anything in the immediate area for now. Although they're not able to penetrate all the way through the forest. The idea is that unless there's anything underneath the earth which they cannot penetrate, they will it seems to be an optimistic all clear. But beyond these more sparse vegetation, you would see this huge face of a rocky red mountain just hit that, hit the landscape in front of you. And once again, the third time, as they did before, the the workers, the harvesters, the soldiers that guard them, and those who haul it, once again, begin their task at work. And once again, you are asked to cover the flanks and the sides of the area and to report any disturbances you might see, any suspicions you might have, of course, to your comm officer, and then to the comm officer, to Killian himself. Patrick, since Al is BRB, I'd like you to roll me a D100, please. A 14. A whole 25 minutes pass, and there's nothing. It is quiet as can be, with the exception, of course, of the sound of the harvesting, of the trees falling, of men shouting commands to each other. Everyone's working very briefly, very quickly, very efficiently. Everyone's looking behind their back. Killian himself continues to ask every few minutes or so for an update, and you tell him what you see, which is nothing. And maybe this gamble is paying off. They've already made incredible headway. They've already harvested another 2 tons already. They've been able to get as much wood as they have in the previous encounters, and everything looks good so far. So Killian urges people to continue, but his voice is more on edge. He confesses to you, Patrick, that he doesn't trust this silence. Al, I want you to roll me a D100.
Ready?
Please.
Sorry. There you go, 26.
And for 20 more minutes, nothing. Not a blip on your radars in your power armor. Not a speck along the mountain itself or in the vast wasteland behind. No movement in the woods. Nocturne herself confesses, well, not confesses, but reports that no men see anything. No disturbances. Morale is getting very high. And Killian, cautious as he is glad to report that we might get another full 2 cords coming in. And he decides to keep on harvesting. Tom, roll me a D100.
All right, time to fail hard. 12. Wow, okay.
It's what we needed, Killian says. I don't trust this silence for an instant, but we fucking lucked out. 30 more minutes, perhaps agonizing, pass. But that's it. They managed to get it all. With a hoop and a holler, the men return to the minor innocents, unscathed and filled with what they came on this planet to do, at least the very first objective. You were all commanded to return to your ships.
Well, hot damn.
You guys rolled extremely well.
So,
Yeah.
out of character, theoretically speaking, if Burn hadn't have burnt the forest down, we never would have come here.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
Don't tell Killian that, though. I don't think he'll agree.
Minor miracles. Minor miracles.
I don't think Killian would share that view.
Well,
as you ascend back into orbit, before you break the atmosphere completely, you're granted by one last, well, not one last, but I guess you could say a little goodbye gift from the Earth of Mars. Because far in the distance, you see a minor meteor shower race across the sky. It's far, far, far in the distance, but you can see sparkling rocks hit reddish light as they course through the air.
A photo op.
Yeah, if you want to take it.
I want to take picture.
Okay, you take pictures.
I would like to as well.
Oh my goodness. How
Could I
pretty.
possibly roll in art skill?
Well, that's more you drawing it. But you rolled a... Never mind. That was your other D100 one, like, because you rolled a D100 already. No, just kidding. That's more art. What I can say is that you can either sketch it really quickly, or you can leave an imprint in your mind for you to draw later on.
I know what I can do.
Or what else can you do?
I will take out my personal computer with that holographic display and the Photoshop programming. about
That's
that?
using the old mind grapes. I like it.
Yeah.
No problem. And there's no skill check for that. In addition, there's no skill check for Patrick. You guys are well skilled enough to operate your computers and to operate your cameras. And this isn't a high stress environment. So it's no problem.
Al has no
Sweet.
such skills. He could detect ambush in the meteor shower.
There's no
by
ambush.
the way, you failed by 1%, and you would have detected that mantis coming at you.
Ah.
It was so close. What can you do, right?
It was fun.
Yeah, it was exciting. Okay. So once you get back into orbit, Killian kind of gives once again debriefs, and he says, "Looks like that risk paid off. We've met our first objective. The men here are pretty happy. But now, that's just the first third of what we need to do, not to add your little pet project of capturing some of these little fucking beasts. Next, you guys get to do the heavy lifting this time, and we do backup. We're going to take another day or so. Relax, refocus, and plan, and allow at least majority of the crew here on the Minor Innocents to celebrate, right? But after that, we're going to get together and we're going to strategize exactly where and how we're going to approach what was left of the colony that was here. So keep that in mind, because we're going to do some brainstorming. There's a lot of information here on Mars, and, you know, the Baron would kill me if I did this half-cocked and you landed on the planet never to be returned again. Okay?
Yes.
Goes. All right. All right. All right, well, I'll talk to you soon. And with that, he signs off.
Cool.
So, soon after that communication, August once again kind of spins around in the chair there that I was sitting at, and he goes, "Well, you guys have been busy doing, what you do," he says in this little snooty voice. "I've been running some analysis, some data that I've managed to acquire, we'll just say, from sources. And I have a rough idea of what this colony used to be. If you want, I can, share what I found to help you out. But you have to know something first," he says. And he kind of bites his lower lip a little bit. Goes, "Oh, no, maybe not know something first. Here, I'll show you something. Here, I'll show you what I found. Well, no reason to wait." And oddly enough, he looks kind of nervous right now as he gestures for you guys to come onto his console. And you can see it's just a black screen. And he slides out the little digital keyboard and he starts typing in a phrase. And he says, "I was trying to get deeper into information on the colony, but I came across surveillance software. Pretty sure we're being monitored."
Oh?
Monitored
How?
from the colony or from our other sister ships?
From the sister ships, he says. And if what I'm saying is true and that surveillance software isn't just software, they can hear what we just said.
I see.
And this is... Where would they be able to monitor us?
August shrugs. He says, "Once I found out about it, I decided not to pry. I didn't want to piss anyone off, but I figured you guys might want to know."
Well, my first thought would be to confront Killian about this, see if he knows anything. If he knows, and we point out that we know, then hopefully he'll be upfront. And honestly, he'll probably say, "Yeah, you're being monitored," and we'll say, "Okay." If he doesn't know, it means something a bit more interesting.
August nods. Yeah. Interesting's one way to put it. I did actually get some data on the colony too, but maybe we want to smooth out the surveillance stuff first. Just because he kind of gives a bit of a smile. I might have bypassed a few, security walls to get this. I don't know if we really had clearance, but I was, messing around.
Al will nod appreciatively, but then put a finger to his lips. And then he would say...
and wait, Al puts a finger to his own lips?
Yes, his own, not to
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet
August furrows his brow and looks down at the fingers against his lips. What are you
Wow.
doing?
Wow.
Shh. I don't know. I saw Blink and Tom doing this. All right, no,
August and Al OTP.
No, he basically put a finger in his own lips, telling August not to. Basically saying, "Don't say anything else on the issue."
Okay. He goes, yeah, of course.
And I would say, well, should we make a call?
I would like that very much.
First things first, actually, before we do that, why don't we see if we can't find these things?
Why not?
Sure. I don't know how I can help.
It'll be like a picnic, except where you don't eat, but you find surveillance equipment.
That's not how picnics works, Al.
I've never been on one.
You've never been on a picnic?
Tom, can you imagine coalition soldiers going on picnics?
Al, we went on a picnic.
Yeah,
what do you
we
think
did.
we did before we did that thing in the forest?
Huh?
Yeah.
You know,
With the prince, right?
yeah.
That was camping.
Yeah. Yeah. That was camping. That's what picnics... You can have a picnic while you're camping.
No, I'm quite sure picnics involve blankets on the grass.
We had one.
We had one. I had one.
Al just
What do
kind
you
of
think I was
scratches his
eating my
head.
berry?
I guess I didn't
You're
really
August
think of that
saying.
as a picnic.
Oh my god, never mind.
I think Al would say, I guess I don't consider planning to assassinate someone part of picnic activities.
Eh. Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm just giggling to myself for everybody who's like in the surveillance going like, what the... Prince assassination.
Wait, what?
Picnic. Is it
Picnic.
code? It must be code.
And this is what I was thinking, like, this must be code. And then he said assassination. I'm like, that's probably not code.
No, Al, we had picnics. We had a lot of picnics in Laszlo.
No, that was New
Oh, we
Laszlo,
had so
and that
many
was
picnics.
Picnic time. Yes,
Tom,
picnics.
okay, Al sits down. Tom, that wasn't actually a picnic. That was just a word.
But picnic time. Come on.
We
Al's
were
like,
gorillas at
maybe we
picnic
should
time.
just go find the
See?
surveillance
See?
stuff.
Even Patrick agrees with me. Come on, let's find this stuff.
We got
because-
that ice cream. Picnic time, you know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that Blink would be very happy when she finds out about this. Let's find this stuff. And hopefully it's not in my room.
Al will look at Blink, who's sitting right there.
Is she sitting right there?
Yeah, she's there.
Okay, I sorry.
and she
It was-
just simply says, she's like, "You're absolutely right, hon. I wouldn't."
Oh, you're right there. Hi.
Patrick's gonna just like walk out of the room going, I'm a gorilla.
All right. So what steps do you guys want to take here, as far as trying to find this supposed surveillance equipment?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I don't really have anything.
Okay. All right.
I don't have.
I mean, the closest thing I have is read sensory equipment. That's the absolute closest thing.
Yeah,
And we
that's-
have no actual sensory equipment that I can read for this. So
Yeah.
Here's an interesting way to ask it.
Okay.
What kind of skill would you need for that?
Surveillance equipment. You would need for 100%. Like here's the thing. Okay, this is my interpretation. Okay, there is a surveillance, television, auditory surveillance skill in the Rifts books. Okay, so if you had that skill, it'd be great. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak, though. Sorry, Blake, but but I mean, you can look, you can observe. You know what I mean? So even though you don't have the exact skill, doesn't mean you guys can't try, and that doesn't mean I wouldn't give you a chance. It's not an impossible task, right? But what you guys would be equivalently doing, since you don't have the skill, is the equivalent of an unskilled check. Now, you could take steps in character in the game to maybe add a positive modifier to it, depending on exactly what you want your characters to do. But for the sake of this, the sake of hunting purposely a supposed, suspected, concealed listening and visual devices, it is, for lack of a better word, unskilled.
Okay. Then I would have an interesting question. The thermal imagers in power armor, how sensitive are they?
Sensitive enough to detect body heat, and a creature that is about 2 feet tall and large, it would not, or it's actually what it is. It's a certain degree of heat.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the threshold. Okay, so like red hot engines, it would detect, and all this other stuff, right? Now you can turn on the thermal heat and see, but there's going to be a lot in your vessel that radiates heat.
Right.
Remember, the biggest problem with spacecraft is what to do with all the excess heat, right? Because you can't just vent it into space, because then you're no longer oxygen sealed, right? And that from my very loose sci-fi understanding, heat displacement is always the hardest thing to do in the ship. Of course, these ships have a way of doing that, right? But I'm not saying it's an impossible idea. In fact, it might be one of these modifiers that assists your unskilled check roll, right?
Yeah. Well, the only way I could imagine, or was imagining to use it, was to look for heat in places it shouldn't be. But I'm not curious if it would even detect heat as sensitive as, say, a large battery pack or something like that.
Yeah, probably not.
I have a question.
Okay.
With this would have to be out of character.
Sure.
Would possibly the infrared and ultraviolet optics of a glitter boy?
Well, if the surveillance equipment uses infrared or ultraviolet, then yeah. And there are now, out of character, I have to tell you this, because in character, I don't know if you know this, but
Definitely.
in and out of character, oh my God, so much of surveillance equipment uses ultraviolet rays and infrared rays.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other question would be, would I be able to detach the helmet?
No.
Okay.
No. That is the glitter boy, for lack of a better word, is nothing like the Flying Titan or the Samson or the Starscream. That is just a robot that you walk into.
Yeah, I can't help it all. I don't think that the glitter boy would even fit in any of the hallways.
It'd be extremely tight and definitely wouldn't fit in any of the living quarters areas.
Yeah, so no.
I'm trying to see. I don't think the Starscream has the same ultraviolet and...
Let me sensor system note: full optical systems, including laser targeting, telescopic, passive night vision, thermal imaging, infrared, ultraviolet, and
does.
polarization.
Okay.
Yep. Plus all other features common to all power armor.
Yeah, I'm just reading that too. Okay, well, would mine be able to walk through the hallways? 9 feet.
Yeah, you'll have to duck in a few areas, but you should be fine.
Then I'll do that, and I'll say that was a really good idea, Tom.
High five! Boom!
Okay.
Before I put my power armor on, I hope.
Any other steps you guys want to take as a
Oh
group?
God, my arm! You broke my arm.
Let me think for a second.
I have this pair of handcuffs. I don't know.
So Patrick has a suite of skills specifically for electronics.
Mm-hmm.
So he does not have the that precise skill about
Surveillance. Yeah.
surveillance. Thank you. But what he does have is cyberjacking,
Yeah.
computer hacking,
Mm-hmm.
that would just be to gather more information.
Yeah.
I
Well, well, I want me to give you some feedback on that, or do you have something else to say? Sorry.
No, that's pretty much it. Everything else is more of like structure for the most part.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know. Quite simply, it's very computer hacking is actually very applicable because August said that he came across some surveillance software or some hints towards it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He can easily direct you. Although he's not eager, he will if you ask him to. But either you yourself or both you and August can make a concerted effort to try to hack into that software and maybe see exactly what your watchers are seeing.
If it's directed towards I'm assuming that it's directed towards our ship, so
Yes.
yeah, Patrick will be all for it.
Okay. Of course, with hacking, there's always a risk of detection, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're willing to do it, so do you just want Patrick to do this, or would you like August to give you a hand?
It's Patrick or pals. We can be hack buddies.
Okay, you guys can be hack buddies. So that's what you're going to do. So this is kind of interesting, actually. The security system in the Rhapsody, the internal software security system, is significant. So it would be like you doing your computer hacking at a -30.
Ouch.
But August will give you a +30 for assisting you. So interestingly enough, his assistance has completely counterbalanced the high security, so you just need to roll your straight skill and let me know how much you succeed or fail by.
Okay.
Wow. Good job. August, working in tandem with August is able to deal with any sort of malicious anti-hacking software and alarm system. And he's able to identify them and let you know so you can weave through them, throw in the right code, put up the right masks, right? And sure enough, you are able to get into, it takes a few tries, but you crack the password to get into a program that indeed is identified as RHSDY_SV_1 to 46. There's another one that has the same title, except it's 47 to 102. Which one would you like to access? You can access both.
Okay. What was the title again?
RB motherfucker. Just kidding. RSDY_SV_1 to 46 and then 47 to 102.
Okay, thank you. He is going to check. Why not start at the beginning? 1 to 46.
Soon enough, 46 optional windows pop up, and you can see full color feeds of what appears to be the engine room, the cargo bay, the recreational room, storage of the Rhapsody. And they appear to be live feeds.
Oh my.
August looks on wide-eyed and he says, see? We didn't trip anything, I don't think. Unless they have a Skulker program. Oh, shit, I hope they don't have a Skulker program.
I tried to take necessary precautions against any of that. Right. So we could probably pinpoint these through angle fairly easily. Let's check out what the other one is.
Opening up, very similarly, a bunch of more live feeds of your hydroponics room, the medical wing, and at least 2 separate angles of everyone's room and the bathrooms themselves and the cockpit.
Okay. I'll have to mark down these angles as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, indeed, Tom.
Well, then, indeed. Okay. I'd like you to roll me just one advanced math check.
Okay. Advanced math is 98, so that's a 20 success.
Great. Yeah, you're able to mark down the angles. No problem then. No errors. Oh, that you think.
All right. Always possibility for mess ups.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that is a Patrick exclusive. I think, like, if I was playing other characters and I did fail roll, I'd be like, yeah, it's totally did it. Even with Patrick's successful rolls, I'd be like, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's Patrick will do that.
Okay.
I suppose that will be it for him. He's actually going to swivel to August. Anything that you want to do here?
He goes, no, I think we've done enough.
Me too.
Don't rock the boat, as they say. Normally, he confesses, if this were any other system, I'd be, wanting to really copy as much data down as I could. You never know who it might be valuable to, but these guys, we're working with them, right? He asks Patrick.
That's what's been said.
Yeah. So, don't want to betray that shit, right? Don't want to start messing around with their stuff. Especially since, they got like 2 ships. We got this one that we're borrowing and fucking Bug Planet and all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. August doesn't say stuff like that. Sorry. And, the Bug Planet and... he wouldn't even say Bug Planet. He'd say, the extra species, planet and all that. All those complications.
I know what you mean. Facing those things, God, August.
I'm kind of glad I was in the ship. I got enough from, the information packets we've been given.
Trust me, I don't want to go down there.
I understand. But you have to capture them, don't you?
Yeah. I have a few ideas, but...
Okay. Well, run them by me at some point. 2 brains are better than 1. It's better than a few of them around here. He kind of gives a tense smile.
Ooh. And Patrick's going to go into basically like seeing their like sensory, like how the insect seems to sense. They seem to have a lot of they seem to swarm on almost any sort of sensory, light, smell, things like that. And also the notion that they may they seem to want meat and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be something that we want to look at.
Definitely. He'll start thinking of stuff and he'll get back to you on that. You have a nice little conversation in regards to that, though. Okay, now what would you guys like to do?
Is it fair to assume Patrick would tell the rest of the crew about this?
Patrick?
Oh, caught up in his conversation, it would probably take him a little bit, but yes, he would.
Okay.
Al would want to start immediately trying to trace these back to their sources and dismantling said surveillances.
Okay.
Possibly starting in Tom's room.
Thank you very much. You are my best pal. You're my best friend, Al.
Look,
Okay.
common decency, come on.
Okay. So,
I feel
so-
dirty.
so in a combination, so we're gonna say
You are
Patrick.
dirty. You're a dirty boy.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Frodo.
I'm sorry, Inferno.
It's okay. You guys can joke. It's allowed. God knows I interject with my own shitty jokes from time to time. Anyway, so is it fair to say that Patrick and Al would work in tandem? Patrick, calculating, pointing out, and then Al, running his hands around the walls, keeping an eye out for these things, and eventually, hopefully, finding them?
Sure.
Okay. So doing so, it doesn't even require a skill check. Patrick already did a lot of the heavy lifting, and thankfully, you don't even need to be in your power armor for this. It takes a little while for each device. And because you have to glide your hands, and you can see these things are sophisticated. They're about the size of a pinhead. And they seem to be hot-wired directly into the electronics of the Rhapsody itself. It takes a little while to detach them. In fact, I would like you to roll me a D100 because you might accidentally break them. You're going to try not to, right?
Right.
But there might be a couple that get damaged
All right.
during the withdrawal. Yeah, you damaged probably about half of them, unfortunately. But, well, whatever. You didn't pay for them.
Yeah, I really don't mind.
Okay. So, you get through Tom's room, we'll say your room, Patrick's room, Mila's room, and you're working on Bear's room when you hear Alicia say, Razor's Kiss coming in. They asked for an immediate dock. I'm going to start doing that, just so you know, guys. He didn't say what for, but he said, but apparently Killian's coming on board.
All right, well, I think we know why.
Oh?
Yeah.
Alicia asks.
We've been dismantling surveillance devices for the past, 30 minutes, Patrick?
20.
20 minutes?
Okay. She says, great. And then the intercom goes off. Sure enough, docking maneuvers begin. The airlocks between the two are joined, and Killian and 4 other individuals come on board. They don't appear to be armed, although Killian does have a blaster on his side. But the other 4 individuals, 2 of them are men, 2 of them are women. They all seem human. They all are in black clothes, black with a little splash of blue on the arms. And you've never really seen these people before. Their faces aren't recognizable. They were never on the Minor Innocents. You know that for sure, Al. And Killian walks through cargo bay, up through to the residential area. He points to Tom's room. He points to one of the women there. He says, okay, there. Points to Patrick's room, to another guy. There. Mila's room, points to the 3rd guy. There. Al's room. There. Start there. Hook him back up. Then he'll turn to your little collected group and he says, anything you want to say?
We'll probably just dismantle them again.
No, you won't. He
I'm
says.
sorry. We are on the same team, and we will be treated like human beings. You are not going to watch me while I sleep.
Killian bites his bottom lip and he says, this isn't a decision.
You're
for
right.
you.
This is non-negotiable. By the way, sorry, out of character. Are we with that? I actually feel kind of uncomfortable going that hard without
we are completely. I'm completely with that.
Patrick.
So Patrick, he doesn't really care if he gets watched.
All right, how about Piff? Because I know Al would be 100%.
I'm with the party at
Okay.
this point.
All right.
Killian gives a small sarcastic smile and he says, Let's play a little game. Let's pretend that you met some people from a foreign place about 2 weeks ago, and you arranged to give them one of your top-of-the-line ships in a mission that will take you far, far beyond any conventional surveillance. And you give it to them without any other additional crew. Do you not think you'd want to keep an eye on them? Make sure they don't try to steal your property, to make sure they don't try to mutiny or attack your fellow employees. What do you think on that?
I think two things. You and I both know you don't need surveillance equipment in order to do that. And secondly, had you been upfront and honest about it, you might have a different reaction. But the fact that you decided to hide this from us and watch us in our sleep without our knowledge means that you don't respect us. So which is it? Do you not respect us as human beings, or are you just being cautious?
He shakes his head. It's not about respect. It's about getting what we want.
Oh, I beg a difference.
There are all sorts of leashes in this world. Some of them are visible, like the guns on our ship. Some of them are invisible, like the surveillance. So the leash has become visible. So what? He says. If you're afraid your secret's going to get out, don't worry about that. Only me and these 4 guys know about this, and we've been sworn to secrecy contracts.
How am I
network
supposed to
forces
believe
them
a word you
consider-
say?
Because I've worked for the network for most of my adult life, and I know exactly what happens. He goes, "Hey, Ridley," he says, brings the closest male owner. He says, "What happens if you break your silence contract?" The guy blinks at him and he says, "Death, sir." "You're absolutely right. Continue." "I'm under the same contract. The network takes secrecy very personally. Our lives are on the line, okay?
Al will...
I don't give a shit about your personal lives."
I do,
This
is non-negotiable.
Killian leans back for a moment and he says, "This is what's going to happen. You're going to give me back those surveillance. We're going to reinstall them. You dismantle them or damage them at all, I'm going to assume this is an act of rebellion, and we will treat it as such. Do you understand me?"
Alright, I gotta go out of character again. Guys, Al is not having this. But I will find a way to rationalize it for the group if I need to. This is like 100% no for Al.
Well, with the way that things are escalating, I don't really want to get into a fight with the other ships. Although now I can't trust them to watch my back. In my opinion, because they've installed all this, stuff, and they've been watching whatever we've been doing for the past 4 months. So there is that. What I am also considering is, at the end of this, after we get all the bugs and everything, what we could do is, because they did this whole move, just go along with this for now, deal with it, and instead of giving Baron Dadoxin the boon, we just use it for ourselves. We helped him with the wood. We helped him with figuring out what to do or what happened with the colony and everything. We got all the bugs. And now, because they went against our trust, didn't actually talk to us, and have been watching us for the past 4 fucking months with whatever we've been doing in our rooms, in the hydroponics bay, everywhere, again, without our knowledge, we can just contact Tyreth after we get the bugs on board, and we use the boon to I don't know. It depends on what we want to do. Do we want to just take the ship somewhere else? Have them teleport us? Something?
But the thing is if we do that, we're making an enemy anyway. So if we're going to make an enemy either way, why suffer with the indignity of having them watch our every action for however long this takes?
Because they have bigger ships.
Right? But the second
And
we
they
use
have
the
big
boon,
guns.
they're going to be our enemies anyway, right? Unless our
If
goal
we're
is
not
to blow
here,
them all
though.
out of the sky, yeah. Or
If we're not
destroy-
here, though, they can't
Alright.
shoot.
Yeah.
All right, Squee. I'm gonna go with your thing at the moment. Give me a second to just kind of like read out this.
Sure.
So, we are against them now, and then they are really upset with us and might just turn on us completely at this point. If they turn on us completely, we're gonna have a hard time getting our boon.
No. That's not. I completely understand with that. What I'm saying is, it's a matter of are we going to make them our enemy or not? That's the question I was asking. Because using the boon for ourselves is going to have the same effect of drawing our line in the sand here. So I'm not suggesting we draw the line in the sand here because we're outnumbered and outgunned, even though, God, it's tempting. But
But that's what you were arguing. You said, well, if we're going to betray them, we might as well do it now.
That's what you're
no, that's not what I said, is it? What I said was, what is the difference? My question was, do we want to make them our enemies or not? Because that's going to be the
Not
same thing.
immediately.
Right.
Not immediately.
No, but
I
that's
would
what
want
that's
to
what
think
I'm
about
asking.
this more out of session, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say going along with it now, because making them our enemy immediately is a bad idea.
All right, someone else is going to have to continue this conversation then, because Al's not going to.
Okay. What about you, Patrick? What do you think? Or Piff?
Okay, I'm gonna answer as Piff then. I think that definitely go along with it now. Either way, like if we just become extremely harsh against them and just be like F all of these guys and everything that they do and whatnot, I still don't think it would be very smart to actually be an aggressive action right now.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think we'll probably have them reinstalled, and if we really need to do anything, we know where the cameras are, and we can physically block them if we really need to do something that they don't want to see.
They can
And,
still probably hear it, though, I think.
Yeah. I would probably have somewhat of that knowledge. Probably. Maybe none. That's it. It would be if I was looking through the videos and things like that. Would I be able to hear audio?
You didn't. You would have, yes.
All right. Okay, so they do have audio. Interesting.
All right, well, okay, go ahead.
But yeah, it's one of those things where whatever action we're going to be doing in the future, this action we're probably going to have to let them do this just so we don't flare up anything that would be unnecessary.
Okay. So my question, I guess we'll just answer after session or out of session.
Oh yeah, are we gonna have them as enemies?
Yeah.
Personally, I have no idea. I think I can go either way.
Right.
But I think we should probably talk about that later, I guess.
Should we resolve the immediate roleplay here?
We will. And Al can... I think I can rationalize Al not wanting to have 3 ships blown out of the sky.
Two for the
ships.
third one.
No, even Alicia.
So do you want me to reiterate what he said?
Sure.
To get us
just
back
for-
into
yeah,
the roleplay?
Yeah.
He says, okay, so this is what's going to happen. My men are going to reinstall. You're going to give me back the equipment that you took and that you damaged. My men are going to reinstall what they can. And any interference, any destruction of the property from then on is going to be an act of rebellion, and I'll treat it as such. Are we clear?
Al will very coldly say crystal.
Mm-hmm. See, you say that. But just remember, it's a leash. You talk about trust. Why should we even trust you? Anything that you said is true. He's taking precautions. And only 5 other people know your secrets, your little seedy little details. And frankly, none of us really give a shit about it. We're not perverts, he says. He looks over to Tom. We're fucking professionals.
Al's gonna laugh.
Something strike you funny?
Yeah. It does, but we spent too much time talking. Go ahead and get your work done. I don't want to keep you.
Ooh. Good, he says. In time, you'll see it the same way that we do.
Al's gonna laugh
Just
again.
do it right now. Oh, yeah, you're laughing. That's fine. All right. And the men finish up their work, and they have no intention of hiding what they're doing. They're putting the stuff exactly back where it left. And whatever is damaged, they came in with replacement parts. And before he leaves, before he gets on to his own ship, Killian will say, I get it. I get most people don't like being watched, which is why we had no intention of telling you anyway. No point of explaining something if people don't need to know. But we're looking after our interests. And if you help us out, our interests become your interests. It's just that simple. Play ball and don't do anything fucking stupid. Okay?
You say you get it, but you don't get it at all. You could have
I
told
do.
us. You could have said something.
Why?
What do you mean,
Uh-huh.
why?
Then,
We're
then
on the
you would have
same
just
team,
just
Killian.
stop. No. Let me explain something to you. We are not on the same team. We have the same goals, but you are not a part of the network. All right? You are not even associates of the network. You are Baron Dioxin's little pet project.
Oh,
Okay.
don't give me that shit. I was over there risking my life for your men. I am on your team, and you don't even have the common decency to tell me that you're watching me sleep.
Okay.
No, you don't get it at all.
Okay, smart guy. Oh, okay, smart guy. How about this? Let's play in your little imaginary world. Say when we debriefed, Baron Dioxin said, oh, by the way, we're monitoring your ship so we know each and every single one of your moves. You're telling me you wouldn't get this indignant then, and you wouldn't tell me you would do your absolute fucking best to circumvent this? The only way for us to actually determine whether you guys are going to try to steal our fucking ship or to rip us off was to see you in your own natural habitat. The second we fucking told you, you would have tried to prevent it. And that's what you're going to do from here on out. At least we got 4 months and a few days of natural goddamn footage.
If you got that much, then you should know enough by now to know that if you had trusted us in the first place, this wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, see, I would have, but now I got this fucking attitude here. And this is a real thing that's stuck in your craw, isn't it? Well, you better man up and get over it, or I'm not going to trust you.
Oh, don't you worry about me. When we're down there, I can be a professional.
Good. Just remember, you might think we're part of a team, but you do what I say. I am the commanding officer.
Al's
And
Al's gonna raise an eyebrow. I'm starting to think you don't understand what a team is.
I'm starting to think you don't realize that when you're put out there on that planet, searching for whatever bugs you need to collect, going in for information into the colony, my word is the only thing that makes sure that you get off that fucking planet alive. So, Are we going to have any problems?
I've already told you no.
We'll see, he says. And unless you say anything, he's going to go ahead and board his ship again.
Al's not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I am of the mind of possibly having that be where we end.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It gives you guys a chance to think about stuff, and before we start the next chapter of the next objective, you know. Yeah, it's just that simple. So perfect time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Are you still recording there, Mr. Squeepy?
Oh, yeah, I have not stopped just yet.
Oh, okay.
But I will say bye-bye to everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.